Okay, cool. Love you.
Okay. Now I'm at the point you wanna be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency. Cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be, it's when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done.
And have lots of fun. That's what we're talking about. Office Hours, episode 854 or so. We are blessed to be here with the amazing Blaine Bartlett, taking possibilities and making them probabilities. He's been a mentor of mine for decades and carrying down a lineage of Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor, and so many other people pouring into our community for decades. Blaine Bartlett, thank you for joining me once again.
Hey, buddy, it is absolutely my pleasure. And just a shout out to the team for that new intro that we've got put together there. Very cool.
Yeah, we're getting there, and there's a couple of new songs. People are sending me all kinds of stuff with AI, and we're having a lot of fun with it. They got a "Don't Do Business with Dick" song that somebody sent me. It's hilarious as well. But let's get right into it because I got a Buckeye waiting. This guy is an incredible entrepreneur, thought leader, investor, advisor. Has his own podcast that you have to go on. Called the InnerSpace podcast, CEO of Kaufman Development, our friend Brett Kaufman. Welcome to Office Hours.
David, thanks for having me. Blaine, it's great to be with you guys. This is fun. Anytime I can join a show where there's a potential song about not being a dick is how could you say no to that?
I love it, man. Well, this is going to be a benefit for all of us because, you're launching a podcast. You are an incredible public growing that as well. And of course, on the business side, as a coach, an advisor, investment and advisory. And we're blessed to have a member of the World Business Council, someone who's been mentoring me as well. I take over the podcast part. He's helped me in the public speaking and investment advising beyond belief. So, just to start off, this idea of a podcast for someone who traditionally is a business person was hard for me to grapple with 11 years ago at Super Bowl with Gary Vee. It still seems to be a challenge to try to fit into how exactly do I go about, number one, creating a podcast, and two, how much time, money, and effort do I put into it compared to what I call, the legs feed the lion compared to my core competency.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'll tell you, I kind of fell into podcasting about 5 years ago, started a show. We just recently, as you said, relaunched, rebranded the InnerSpace podcast. But, it's something that is real natural to me that I really enjoy doing. I used to just do it in coffee shops without a microphone, deep, meaningful conversations with people about life. And hearing other people's journeys, being able to share my own, seeing how connected we are, seeing how similar we are, seeing how we can learn from each other is something that I've just always loved to do as a kid. So understanding that you can press record, share it with an audience, and really build a community around the journey of life is something that, is just fun for me. It's just something I really enjoy, seems to have an impact. And it's a never-ending learning process. Now we're figuring out how to find your way in a crowded space, but it's the conversations are the easy part. That's the stuff that really means a lot, and being able to share it is a lot of fun.
David's. I've been on David's podcast. He's been on mine. The playbook. And mine is the soul of business. And I'm struck, Brett, by the conversational piece that you're describing there. We're coming up on 250 episodes on our podcast, and to your point, it's easy for me to have the conversation, to be the host, that sort of thing, because it's about a meaningful conversation, authentic conversation, rather than a stilted scripted sort of a performance. And I find that, from a business perspective, there's more resonance when we have an opportunity to just sit and talk with somebody in a conversational format where vulnerability actually begins to emerge. I mean, particularly if the host has got the ability to actually ask some questions that don't polarize, but actually invite an opening. So there's a question embedded here. There truly is. I'm curious with you. Your work, in moving, your clients from what was to what could be. So in that liminal space between what was and what could be, where are you finding traction for the podcast as a resource to facilitate that migration with your clients, if in fact you do?
Yeah, it's a great question. What I do on the podcast is not really spend a whole lot of time on what people are doing now, the success that they're having, what they're probably known for, but really unpacking the entire path to that work. And when you go back and you look at your childhood and you look at all the little threads, all the pieces of the mosaic that when put into place, although it might not ever make sense individually, together it's beautiful, it's perfect, and it gives them a sense of being able to understand who they are and what they're really here for, and the things that have always been the common threads in their life. And when they start to take a step back and look at their full life journey, it gives them a lot of comfort and peace and strength to really start to think about moving forward into the next thing. It starts to look a lot more natural, a lot more aligned, a lot more expansive. And at times, I think people get stuck in the who I am, the identity they have, what they're known to do. And in those transitionary states, you kind of have to go back, take a step back, and look at who they really are at their core, who they've always been, what's led them to this point, and then start to talk about how to move forward.
Perfect.
So smart. And then taking it to the next level with speaking. I work with a tremendous amount of speakers. I know Blaine as well speaks around the world and has worked with speakers as well. All these things take time, and we have to balance or harmonize the empowering of others and the stages that we're on with the expense, not only of doing so, but also the opportunity cost of public speaking. And I think a lot of people that are seasoned business people aren't quite prepared for the harmonizing of what it takes to be a public speaker. For you, have you found it to be a challenge with harmonizing all the different aspects of what you have going on with being such an incredible speaker and the opportunities that exist to be all that you want to be to everyone?
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's a challenge to try to figure out, how you're going to prioritize your time and where you're going to really lean in and where you can really make the most impact. For me, I'm lucky in that, what I'm speaking about really is my life experience. It's the things that I've learned, the wisdom I've gained, my experience, both in business and in life. So I don't have to think a lot about how I'm going to go about and share what I'm going to say. It doesn't take me a lot to prep for it. I don't have to worry about what the subject is or what kind of questions are going to be asked. When you're really aligned, when you've done the hard work, the interpersonal work, when you're, been through some battles, when you kind of really know who you are, you just have to show up and be yourself and share what comes out of you, what's inside of you, what you know to be true. And so that takes a lot of pressure out of it. And then you can start to really, decipher, well, who's my audience? Is this something that really feels like me? Is this a group that's really going to resonate with what I have to say? Is this an experience filled with people that I want to be a part of? Is this going to a place that I want to be? You can start to kind of filter in, is this something that I really want to be doing and that I feel like is a part of my path? And when you start to kind of make decisions that way, it does get a lot easier to decide where and how to spend your time and what you really want to be doing to make the most impact.
And you are making an impact on so many different ways, relaunching the InnerSpace podcast, speaking around the world, and of course, coaching others. And We are so blessed to have Brett Kaufman in our family, in our circle, in our community. Look forward to doing more with you and Blaine. I know we'll be out for our professional athlete community, EO, YPO, Tiger 21. We got a variety of people who want us to help empower them. The incredible Brett Kaufman. Check out his podcast. Go to brettkaufman.com. Brett, we'll have you back soon. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks, David. Blaine, thank you for letting me be a part of it. It was great to be with you as always.
Many more to come. The incredible
Thanks,
Brett
everybody.
Kaufman here
All
on
right.
Office Hours. Thank you so much. What a stud.
Yeah, love
I
it.
love guys that don't need to do this shit and they do it to help other people like you. And, you get there and it's just so nice to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want. Speaking of which, Cory Brewer's in the green room, founder and president of Beyond Landscaping, co-founder of Novera Agency. And we're going to talk about how entrepreneurs can leverage EAs and virtual assistants today. Welcome, Cory.
Thanks, David. Great to be here. And Blaine as well.
I think everybody's caught up in the AI world, but they forget the EA and the VA world. And all of them require one thing, which is to take inventory of capabilities. Too many people are trying to replace people and not trying to become more efficient, effective, and statistically successful by maximizing the capabilities that are needed to create those efficiencies and effectiveness of statistical success. How can people leverage not just AI, but EAs and VAs in order to facilitate lowering their costs and increasing their productivity?
Tons of different ways. I mean, your EA buys back your time, right? That's the most important part. Every famous entrepreneur is always talking about hiring an EA, and it's the most important role that you can ever hire. And it should be the first role you hire when you're starting a new company. And the more time you can buy back by taking off things off your plate that are low value, whether that's checking your email for spam, calendar invites, scheduling, booking travel. As an example, my EA helps run my hockey teams, does our lines, our beer rotation, collects payment from people. The more time that we can buy back as entrepreneurs, the more time we can focus on the big picture and the stuff that only we can focus on. And obviously a huge part of that is focusing on AI, which is the future. Within a year, we're going to have one-person companies with an army of AI agents. So how can we utilize our time the best so that we can focus on what's the most important? I think that's the real key point there.
Well, first of all, I'm looking out my window here. I see, Vancouver Island just on the horizon over here. So we've got good weather today. You're up in North Vancouver. I know that. So just a neighbor. That being said, question has to do here with two parts. One is, with the landscaping business. You founded Beyond Landscaping in 2016. And I'm making an assumption that you did not found it with an EA in your hip pocket. Yeah.
No, I didn't. Sorry, go on.
So I was going to say, at what point did you realize that, there's something here that I'm missing and I need to backfill this? So what was the catalyst for that? The second piece is, how are you actually setting your clients up to vet an effective EA?
So I'll start with the first one. I did everything backwards. I grew a large business, several $1 million a year in revenue with a big leadership team, maybe 8 office people. And then I went and hired an EA. And I hired an EA because I was fortunate enough to be in some pretty amazing business groups. I heard you talk about them earlier on the previous guest. I'm an entrepreneur organization member. I'm also in Breakthrough Academy. And several of the guest speakers constantly talked about how important EAs were. Mike Machowicz from Profit First, the Built to Sell guy, John Worrell, Dan Martell's book obviously changed my life as well. And I was doing a poll in both my business groups, and I was amazed to find that almost nobody had an EA. And I'm like, well, if an EA is one of the most important hires that you can make, why does no small business owner have an EA? And that was a real aha moment, which I'll get to later about why we started Novera Agency. So I immediately went and hired a virtual assistant and used them in an EA position. My landscaping company is primarily ran remotely from the Philippines. So I had quite a lot of extensive experience offshoring our office staff. So I thought it'd just be as simple as putting somebody in a customer admin position. So after hiring 5 or 6 virtual assistants, I then hired an EA and tried to get her into my life. But I am so busy with my business groups, my hockey groups, my travel, everything I'm involved in. It was exceptionally difficult to train her on everything, versus what we recommend to our clients is always hire an EA first. They grow with you, they learn every position, and they're so critical from the beginning of the company. And that's the big mistake I made. I waited until year 7 or 8 before I hired an EA, versus now the 2 other companies that I run, I hired an EA from day one, and it's been a complete game changer. So as we scale and grow, I'm not stuck in the day-to-day, and I'm not the one doing all the work and the hiring and building SOPs, and I'm not the one hiring more virtual assistants anymore. All that falls on my EAs.
That's incredible. Just to finish up, one of the bigger concerns that people have with virtual assistants and EAs is not really leadership, not the high performing side of what it enables us to do, but it's culture. We have a culture crisis. People don't work for companies, they work for cultures. And part of that crisis is created not just from remote working, but remote workers that are part-time or fractional or not quite even involved, let's say, in the culture. How have you addressed the cultural divide that is created with mostly virtual assistants, but also can be impacted with the wrong executive assistant as well?
Absolutely. So culture is a really big part of Beyond Landscaping. It's something that from day one that I implemented. So we do weekly team barbecues, we do staff parties, we get people out for drinks, and it's very difficult to do that with a remote team. And I got a lot of pushback when I started hiring virtual assistants, and all of a sudden our field staff are being managed remotely from another country. And, that took a little bit of adjustment for the long-term staff, but anyone coming new into our company gets used to it right away. But what we try and do is, a perfect example is I just flew to the Philippines for the first time. I got to meet all 6 of my virtual assistants that help run Beyond Landscaping. Spent 3-4 days with them, had an amazing time, and really got to build that culture in person. And there's no replacing that. You can do a monthly team meeting and with prizes and games, and you can build culture remotely that maybe is not as easy as doing it in person, but certainly it's definitely possible to build a good culture. That obviously means, treating them well, paying them well, and they're family to us. So we want to make sure that they stay long-term.
So smart, whether it's leadership, culture, or building high performance team, learn from the best how to leverage executive assistants and virtual assistants, even in a service-based business, and creating sustainability and scaling the expertise of Cory Brewer out of North Vancouver, president and founder at Beyond Landscaping and co-founder at Novera Agency. Please promise us you'll come back. More people need to know your story and also need your help. We appreciate you pouring into our community. Thanks for joining us, Cory.
Thanks for having me. It was a blast. Have a great day.
Job. Thank you. All right. As our cleanup hitters coming in from One Oak Financial, we like Mike. Mike Milligan's in the house. We're bringing him on. There he is. Hey, Mike.
Hey, David. Hey, Blaine. How's everybody?
Doing well.
Amazing. Thank you for joining us.
I like the sign behind you. Ideas by Mike.
It is, man. That's a podcast that I have also. So, I'm not trying to take your listeners, but if you guys want to hear some conversations, a little more longer form, right? Go listen to the Ideas by Mike podcast.
Yeah, there's no taking listeners in my world. It is, I don't know anyone that only listens to one person. And if you are, don't listen to mine. If that's the mindset of what it is. But I was looking at your mottos, as you deal in courses and books and, understanding your business and, your one of a kind plan. I love this idea, not just be one of a kind, but never miss a moment. I think life is made in the minutes and moments, and probably a different perspective than most people have. What do you personally get out of that motto, never miss a moment?
So many people have their heads down and they literally are not focused on the world around them. Like David, I live in Puerto Rico. In Puerto Rico, I could be walking down the street tonight for dinner, and all of a sudden in the park, full-on halftime show like from the NFL will pop up, right? With full-on dancing and fun and entertainment. But if I was so engrossed in everything I do, like the purpose of building business, the purpose of being an entrepreneur is to ultimately have freedom. That's what a one-of-a-kind life is freedom. And if you don't have a couple of mottos in your life, like never miss a moment, just these mantras that you consistently say to yourself over in time, well, all of a sudden you're going to wake up on a bed and say, I wish I would have done more than I actually did in my life. And so that time will go by like that. It'll be done before it's all said and done. And so like never miss a moment to me is to live where I am, live where my feet are, be present. It's something that I teach my kids. I've taught my kids, like they grew up with this thing, this cell phone. And it's so easy to like follow, inside of a phone. And I've told them to get outside of that. I tell people I listen to get outside of that. And so that's what I do is I never miss a moment. It's one of my key mottos in life.
I was just kind of looking at some of the background material that we were provided here. Taking One Oak Financial towards a B Corp certification,
Yep.
That's not a small issue. That's not a small thing to do. There are a bunch of hoops that need to get passed through and T's to be crossed, I's to be dotted here. What is it about being B Corp certified that's important to you? And I ask that as a co-author of Compassionate Capitalism, A Journey to the Soul of Business. My co-author is sitting with me here in a car right now, but why is a B Corp certification important to you, particularly in the financial arena?
It shows that our business is more than profit. And I think so often, like, don't get me wrong, right? I'm here to profit. I'm here to live a great life. I want my employees to live a great life. But being a benefit corp, right, that is one that has like our specific benefit feature is like we want to impact the next generation. We want to serve those who don't have financial education, financial literacy. And we give a great deal of our profits to organizations that do that. And then our employees dive into that. But being in a group of companies that is their mission. I'm thinking like Patagonia and a lot of other companies that are out there. There's the saying, you are if you want to know who you are, look at the 5 people you hang out with. Who we are as One Oak Financial is we want to be around companies that give back to the earth, give back to our culture, and not just take. And we all know, all 3 of us know that Wall Street companies, not all of them, but most of them, more profit over people, stories lost in a system, and account numbers over names. And that's not what we want to do. We want to be, we want to be recognized as a company that is doing the right things for individuals.
It's imperative for Blaine and I as we wrote Compassionate Capitalism along lines of that philosophy within the context of minutes and moments, and that strategy of living, never missing a moment is a paradigm shift that a lot of people miss. And I think it's relative to your paralysis penalty in the minutes and moments side of things. It's not just enjoying the moment, it's identifying what's interfering with us enjoying our moments and only spending minutes and moments in the interference. So whether it be a need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, resentful, worried, depressed, we only want to spend minutes and moments in that type of ego-based response and move back into our divine direction. I see some congruency within the context of paralysis penalty, of being able to identify these interfering modalities of response. You tried and help people to eliminate this. What are some of the ways in your program that you can help people eliminate this interference?
Well, people have been hurt by people in the past. But that doesn't mean you're always going to be hurt by people. It means that you need to learn from that. And so we often the paralysis penalty that exists is we take all these hurts and failures that we've experienced in the past and we freeze when opportunity presents itself. Opportunity is a moment to move forward, stay the same. And we all know that when you stay the same, you're really moving backwards. And so we help people try to, especially in their finances, eliminate the penalty of staying the course. There's people who are multimillionaires that grew up with nothing, and there's people that grew up or that were born into multimillionaire families that have nothing. And the difference between those people are the people that did not get paralyzed by people who did them wrong in the past. They still moved forward. They took it as a learning lesson, and they found a way to still trust people in financials in the world. You know, you ask. I mean, all of us are very successful people, but if you ask the three of us, and I know you guys would feel this way too, if it was all gone today, but you're guaranteed 30 more years in life, you would have no fear because you knew you could make it back. The paralysis penalty is where people who live in fear because they're worried that if I lose what I have, if I lose everything I have, I will go back to some place I don't even want to go to. And that's what we try to help people get around.
I've been there and done that, and
Yeah.
I will tell you, Mike
Hands in the air.
Milligan. Yeah, Mike Milligan will help you at One Oak Financial get total freedom to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want. He has the methodologies, modalities, and experience to help you with all the different places and parts and people that are necessary. Check out his one-of-a-kind plan delivered by Mike himself, full of ideas and execution of those ideas. Thank you, Mike Milligan. Please look out for him, ideasbymike.com. Come back and join us soon.
Absolutely, guys. We'll see you.
Thanks, Mike. All right, Blaine, what's your takeaway of the day?
Yeah. All three of our guests kind of spoke to this. And the word I used a little bit earlier when I was talking with Cory is that liminal space between what was and what is. Yeah, that unknown, and being able to stay there long enough to have something emerge is important to learn how to do. Too quickly, we want to move to certainty, and it's in that move to certainty where there's an incredible penalty. Because to get from what was to what will be or what could be, the way to yes is through maybe.
Yes, sir.
It really is. The way to yes is through maybe. So that liminal space. How do I honor it and stay in it until it's time to move out of it?
I love it. And for me, the takeaway was never miss a moment, not just a moment of joy, but a moment of interference. And if we can elevate our awareness to the moments that add up into our journey, our divine direction, and shorten the distance of resistance of the wrong moments and lean into the moments that are aligned with the meaning and the divine direction in which we desire, we can live that life of abundance. We can make more money, help more people, have more fun. The incredible Blaine Bartlett here on episode 854 or so of Office Hours. Remember, taking possibilities of probabilities. Check out the double B, BlaineBartlett.com. I'll look forward to seeing you soon and talking this afternoon.
Okay, buddy. Enjoy the summit. I love you too.
I will.
Bye.
All right, everyone. We are here in Seal Beach. Come and meet up with us. Interviews holding court, and Bill Walsh and I are going to throw it down. So come and join us here in Seal Beach. Then go fund yourself the #1 show on Cheddar, hold up, meeting court, interviews, VIP dinners, Expo West, VIP dinners, speeches, interviews, meetups, holding court. Rinse and repeat for the Aspire in Houston. Come and join us there for all of the above. Back in Orange County for an Orange County Mastermind, all of the above. Then Las Vegas, season 10 of Office Hours, all of the above. Then in Phoenix, multiple EO, YPO, the players, professional athlete community, rinse and repeat, and then the Masters Mastermind to culminate it all. Come and join us in 200 cities. Get informed, get invited. 949-298-2905. Get informed, get invited. Join our text community. Don't call a text community. Text us 949-298-2905 or email me. Don't do business with Dicks. Get our books, guys, exercises for free. I'll sign them, send it to you. Pay for shipping and the book. David at dmeltzer.com. But remember, be more interested than interesting. be kind to your future self, and do good deeds. Hit it, Gigi.
Now I'm at the point you wanna be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency, cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be, it's when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done.